Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
It's Ebro in the morning. You got the beautiful Laura Styles. Hi, Laura Styles.
Thank you.
Wrestling jacket, Michael Jackson.
Michael
What is
Jackson
this jacket you're wearing? What is this?
It's the Nakamura jacket. It's Shinsuke Nakamura's jacket.
Who?
Shinsuke Nakamura. Whatever. It's on WWEshop.com. It's
Wrestler WWE.
I thought you wore it simply because the legend Leonard Ellerbe was here and you trying to look better than him. I thought that was going on.
I know I can't do that, so I'm not
Well,
gonna
you know,
try.
he's on Floyd Team Money Mayweather, so I figured you was trying to, step your glam game up.
I'd have to go to a different level than that, considering this man's about to make more money for nothing than we've ever seen before.
What do you mean for nothing?
Because his fighter's about to breeze through a fight on August 26th against Conor McGregor, and you're going to make... How much money are you expecting? Do you have any number that you expect you guys to net on this fight?
No, I know it's a lot of money out there.
It's a lot out there.
A lot.
But you guys don't have an estimate yet on what that is?
No, because you can't count your chickens before they hatch.
I have some questions, okay? And I want to start here. What chance in your mind, you're talking to Floyd, you're training Floyd, you're watching training, in your mind as Floyd trains, and in the camp's mind, what exactly, because I don't know anybody who's a boxing fan that believes that Conor McGregor has a shot, but you have to prepare, right? You go into these things and you respect your opponent, otherwise, get your clock clean, something bad could happen. What are you guys preparing for? Like, how do you prepare for someone who is not a boxer at all?
It's kind of impossible to prepare for a guy you've never really seen in a boxing ring, so you just have to be prepared across the board. Conor McGregor is very unorthodox, as we've seen, but one thing we do know, when he touches people, they fall out. So
he hits hard.
Yeah, he's definitely a terrific puncher, and he has great timing. And when it comes down to boxing, it's about timing and inches.
What do you say to people who say Floyd has a glass jaw, a soft chin, can't take a punch? What does Leonard Ellerbe say to that?
That's a joke. Floyd has a terrific chin. He's been buzzed in a few fights.
Yes, he has.
Throughout his career.
With people that are much bigger than him, too.
Correct. But he's 49-0, and he's 49-0 for a reason.
How much, honestly, behind the scenes, and I know you want to sell this fight, but how much do Floyd and Conor like each other? Because they seem to, in my opinion, and again, I'm a wrestling fan, so I'm always looking through everything through the eye of entertainment. They seem to have a fondness for each other and to be entertained by this. How much do you think they actually kind of really respect each other?
I think Floyd respects what he's done thus far in his career, and I think that Floyd has to sit back and look and say, hey, this guy took a page out of my book, which is it's the biggest compliment ever, and it just shows you that if you're going to be like somebody, why not be like the best?
You think that after this fight, could you see Conor and Floyd continuing to work together in any capacity?
You never know. I have a great deal of respect for Conor and what he's done thus far in the UFC, so you just never know.
Do you have any concerns? Like I have had some concerns, and I was, when it started, a big proponent of this fight. There are some sports purists who are not.
Wait, you were a big proponent, like you wanted it to happen.
I want the fight to happen. I thought it would be fun. I don't think it's as bad for the sports as people say. And, on my show...
I do believe, and just for clarity, and I do believe that this could turn in the ring into somewhat of a circus where Conor McGregor does things that are not boxing, or just where Floyd just won't respond.
But won't he get disqualified for that?
Could. I think he may go for a disqualification. But does he lose his purse if he gets disqualified?
He'll lose a lot of money.
If he so that won't happen.
So that won't happen.
Okay.
Slim chance of that.
But on my ESPN radio show, though, that one of my co-hosts is very anti the fight. He's one of those kind of purist types. And I have not been that guy. I've been like, I want to see this. This is entertaining. In my perfect world, would I have loved for Floyd to have been a couple years younger, and somehow they'd worked it out for Floyd to fight Triple G? That might have excited me more, because I think it would have been more dangerous for Floyd. But that said, I'm excited for the fight. However, some of the race baiting stuff did start to get me uncomfortable. How did you have any thoughts on that when Conor started saying some of the stuff he said?
Boy, dance for me, boy. And then the Rocky Monkey comment thing, which, by the way, I didn't let Conor McGregor skate on that. I don't know the man, but that was real shady. because, fam, that didn't have nothing to do with insulting Floyd.
Yeah, no,
You was just insulting black people in the movie.
right, and it was on Jimmy Kimmel. Like, it wasn't even part of the thing. So, did you feel any way about that, or did you and Floyd ever have a conversation about, like, we need to tone this down and not let it get racially out of control?
Well, some of the stuff that allegedly Conor McGregor said, I did not hear it, and I'm a big proponent of being respectful, and I'm not a part of any of that race, stuff that gets out of control. But one thing I can confidently say that I personally don't think that he's a racist. He's shown me the utmost respect even prior to us even making this deal, and I've kind of watched his career blossom for the last 4 years. So that's not something I personally think.
So even if he said something that was over the line while trying to sell the fight, you don't personally hold it against him as him having racial issues himself?
No, I don't. Yeah.
And after I got emotional, emotional is a strong word, but after I was baited into being like, yo, F him, blah, 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 then I was reminded how many times race and these things have been used in promoting fights. And you go back to, was it Ali Frazier with the whole, when Ali called Frazier a monkey and that hurt Frazier's feelings.
Uncle Tom. That was the really
Uncle
bad
Tom,
part. Yeah.
no, those things. Mr. Ellerbe, you've been around boxing how long?
Longer than you like to say?
For a long time.
How often has this thing, race and these sensitive social issues, been woven into getting people emotional to watch a fight in your experience? How many have you seen or remember?
Well, at this level, how often have you seen an Irish fighter fight an African American?
Right.
That has a lot to do with it. I mean, racial tensions are, very high in the United States, in the world.
Yeah.
Because for a number of reasons. So I think that things have been escalated, because of that. And quite naturally, when you see a Irish guy standing face to face with the African American, both are great trash talkers, things come out, and people get to speculating. So I think, it's more so of people kind of putting more into it than there really is,
I know your story is long. We would need a long time to really break it all down. But can you give us a little bit of how you started and how you got into this game and got to the point where now you've been Floyd's business partner for how long have you been?
21 years we've been working together.
So take us before that, because we've known you in the Floyd years more. Take us up a little bit through the beginning of Leonard Ellerbe in the boxing game.
Well, actually, I met Floyd when he was probably like 13 or 14 years old through his both of his uncles, Jeff and Roger. He used to come to Vegas and, wilding out as a youngster, like in the summer. And they always used to talk about how great their nephew was and that he was going to be an Olympic champion and one day become a great world champion. And obviously that all worked out. And
what were you doing at that time?
I was living in D.C. and I was working, doing strength and conditioning and working with a law firm also.
So at that point, were you officially involved in boxing at that point?
No, not I.
You were just around it. It was just
around. I used to box myself.
Got it. And you're from D.C. originally?
Yeah, D.C.
Whereabouts?
Northeast.
Okay, I'm from Maryland.
Oh, okay.
And so at that point, they tell you about this kid, and when you first got eyes on Floyd Mayweather, we're talking about arguably the greatest, the best to ever do this. I will never use the word greatest for anyone but Ali, but he is the best, I think, maybe to ever do it. What did he look like visually when you saw him for the first time working out?
Unbelievable. I've always been a guy that has had vision, and what I saw in him was just, a guy that had this supreme talent that eventually was going to turn into something great. I mean, because being around the sport, you see other fighters, and from the technical side, it's like Floyd is incredible. He just needed, a good team, and that's kind of what we came up with.
So you knew right away that you wanted to work with him as soon as you saw him?
100%. I left everything in Washington, D.C. and moved to Las Vegas.
In your experience, and I've always wondered this, haven't had the opportunity to have like an official interview with Floyd, but I've always wondered, to what degree did his uncle's experience as a fighter, right? And it was Roger that used to go to Mexico, and he would wear the sombrero like Floyd did that one time, which kind of set off his bad, kind of being the heel, being the bad guy image, right? That was the moment I remember. I was like, oh, he going for the bad guy thing, like, because, and we could talk about that later, why he opted that route. But he really has owned this bad guy character to the point of, like, people really believe that he's this bad person. And he's done some things outside the boxing ring that, in his own personal life, that he's had to serve time for, et cetera, et cetera. But how much did his uncle's experience as a black boxer trying to find his way when Roger was doing his thing, did it click in Floyd's head that we got to turn this into something bigger than boxing? This is, how much was that crafted and I guess in the front of Floyd's mind as a prize fighter, like, I need to go get this money and this is how I'm going to do it?
Well, initially when he turned pro, he was under another promotional banner early on for the first 9-10 years. But the promoter at that time, we all know he's a famous promoter.
Who was it? Was it Aram?
Yeah.
Okay.
He wanted Floyd to basically emulate Oscar. That whole image, golden boy, thing.
The good guy.
Yeah, the good guy. Floyd's from the hood. That's all he knows, then. And he said he wasn't gonna be fake. And that was something that he was totally against. And, we tried to convince Aram at that time that, there's an untapped market out there, in the urban community that, that's when hip hop was coming together, and there was not a star from the boxing world that the kids could look to. And that was our whole approach, is that we got to be in control of our own people before we branch out and do anything else. And Floyd is not fake. He's not going to run around and be fake and act like, that he's this guy with this clean-cut image, and it was just something that he didn't want to be a part of. And then that's how it kind of all started. He was just like, I have no problem with just being who I am, and people going to have to accept me for who I am. I'm going to just live my life.
But what do you think, because I always have a tough time with Floyd because the stories that have come out in his personal life that affected him and put him behind bars are bad stories, and I understand people being affected by them. But I also have to judge people based on my personal experience, and in my personal experience with Floyd, I found him to be a really friendly, charming, introspective person. What do you think is the most surprising thing about Floyd Mayweather that people might not have any idea? And maybe Floyd wouldn't want them to know because it's not part of his image. But Floyd Mayweather, the guy is there anything about him that is just totally different from the image?
He's a big R&B guy.
He like a slow jam.
Yeah, that's all he likes to listen to. He doesn't really listen to hip-hop.
Really? He's all R&B?
Yeah, all R&B.
What's he mostly listening to? Do you know, like, what does he have? When
you name it. He's a fan, a big R&B fan.
That's hilarious.
Funny.
That's so funny. So I guess the next question is, what's the biggest thing that is the biggest rumor about Floyd, that something that's out there right now that's completely untrue?
So many. He's just real, man. He's living his life, and he's like a lot of men who would. He's just living the dream. He's living the dream, and he don't really care what people think. He's in his own world. He's not bothering nobody, and he's very, very happy.
What about any truth to the reason Floyd was so about this McGregor fight? Was that he has gone through a lot of money and needs more money?
that is the furthest thing from far being truthful. Floyd Mayweather has been set for the rest of his life for many, many years.
And in spite of those betting tickets we see, he's doing all right. He's doing just fine.
Yeah, Floyd gets a 7-figure check every month for the rest of his life.
A 7-figure check?
7-figure check.
For what's that from?
From all his investments.
Just from investments in the money that he already had.
Yeah, and he owns He's part owner of I think it's 8 buildings right here in Times Square.
Are there any fights that never got to happen for Floyd that you would have really loved to have seen happen and didn't? Or maybe like one that happened way too late? Obviously, many of us think the Pacquiao fight came a bit late because of the back and forth that happened with the drug testing and whatnot. Any fights that got away from you guys that you really would have liked to have seen happen?
No, not at all. This is all part of God's plan, and it's all about timing.
What do you think of Triple G?
I think he's a good fighter.
Is there another time, do you think, had Floyd been younger, that's something that could have happened? Or you think you guys could have gotten the weight class together and made that happen?
Well, Floyd's a very small 47-pounder, and Triple G is a middleweight.
154?
No, he's 160.
160.
Yeah.
And so you think it's unlikely that they would have met even at 154 or something?
Probably unlikely. Yeah, because he started coming on towards the end of Floyd's career, and it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out. If he probably would have came, around a bit earlier, then I'm sure it probably was something that could have happened.
And what about you as far as boxing goes post-Floyd? Because no matter what, we're getting it. If this isn't the last one, maybe there's one more, but this is probably the end. And we're certainly close to it. What do you have planned as far as boxing goes?
Mayweather Promotions. I'm CEO of the company. We have 40 fighters. We have some outstanding young talent, and I think the fans out there have kind of clamored to Gervonta Davis. He's going to be the face of Mayweather Promotions.
How good is he?
Wait, Gervonta, did we meet Gervonta already?
How old is he?
22.
No,
Where's he from?
Baltimore.
No, I don't know if we met him.
I don't think he
I don't
came
think
through
it was
yet.
him.
He's must see TV.
And
What weight class?
130.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the real deal, and he's definitely, when you look at boxing and you say who is next up, he's definitely next up.
What does Mayweather Promotions offer that you believe is better than other companies out there? Because obviously for a long time, a lot of fighters have been ripped off by a lot of people. And I would hope with Floyd's experience and, you guys would be able to give back and sort of give people a more fair opportunity. Is that how you see yourself as a company?
Oh, that's exactly what we're doing. You couldn't have said it any better, because with Floyd being a fighter and a promoter also, then he understands the things that fighters go through. And so that's why he's been able to relate to the fighters so well, and they all respect him. And again, we're the past, the present, and the future of what this thing is all about. That's why the fighters, I get calls every day from fighters all over the world wanting to work with us, because, again, we're in a position to give guys great opportunities, and that's what it's all about,
Who is this fight helping the most? Let's talk Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather, because obviously there's people who think that, Floyd's doing Conor a favor. And obviously not talking about the amount of money, because they're both, it's helping both of their bank accounts, without a doubt. But as far as like branding, and as far as like, is this helping boxing? Is this helping MMA? Is this, who is this really helping? And while I think all of us are excited to watch whatever this is going to look like in the ring, many people are like, okay, where's this going next?
I think it helps combat sports in general. This is entertainment, and this is what the people wanted. The people demanded this fight.
Because of both of these guys being so prolific and trash talking and having their own profiles.
Exactly. And any time, and that's the beauty of it, is that, fans will support something when you deliver it when they want it. And this is what the fans wanted, and this is exactly what they're going to get.
Is this the first time a fight is going to theaters? Like we talked about it going to AMC?
That's how it all started.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is going back. It's almost old school it's almost closed circuit, like that. It's going to be in movie theaters as well.
Right, and this is something that we, Mayweather Promotions, started like in 2007.
So, you've been doing this regularly for Floyd fights?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
The opportunity to see them at movie theaters?
Yes.
And so you guys don't have any number that you expect. What's the bottom number that you guys hope to hit for buys for this fight? Do you have a low-end number you really want to hit?
Well, we would love to break the Maypac number.
What was the Maypac number again?
4.6
million.
Yes.
Buys.
Yes.
And that fight was what, $70?
No, 100.
That was 100 also.
Mm-hmm.
My God.
And this was 99, right? Just 99?
Yeah, you guys going 900 again.
You thought, be honest, you thought about going to 120. You was
No.
You was like, nah, let's hit him 119. Let's hit him.
No.
Hit him now. Hit him now. 119.
No, 100's a lot. Considering when we were kids, I remember 39 very well. I think I maybe remember 29 for some. And then,
Mr. Ellerbe, I have a question. I was raised, my dad was a big Hagler fan. So I watched a lot of those Hagler-Hearns fights. And what is it about boxing and fight culture now? Because I feel like we'll never see that again. Or do you agree, disagree? And
Well, things have changed. Sports in general, a lot has to do with business. Back then the fighters were warriors and
it was for the culture,
for the culture, and it still is. But now things are a lot about business, because oftentimes you see these older fighters that they gave their lives, they gave everything to the sport, and then they have nothing to show for it. Which is really, really sad. You see a lot of the older fighters, they can't talk and
can't walk.
They can't walk,
yeah.
and they have nothing to show in their bank account for what they gave to the fans
and to the sport.
Yeah, and to the sport. So
it's a catch-22 though, because you end up either. And by the way, I would argue that no one is more responsible for this becoming less just about the fight and more about the business than Floyd. Floyd is the embodiment of.
Oh, he's the poster boy for. I'm a prize fighter, guys. Don't get it fucked
right,
up.
I'm not just a warrior. I'm a prize fighter, and it's a mixed bag because yes, obviously it's better because they're healthier and they're better off, but at the same time, it does come at a slight cost of the entertainment for the fans, which obviously I don't put our own entertainment ahead of the health and wealth of the fighters. But you see what I'm saying? It's a bit of a catch that the less warriors you have, the less entertainment you have to a certain extent.
Well, it all depends upon how you want to be entertained. Boxing is a sweet science, and it's about hitting and not getting hit. And the less you get hit, the longer you're going to last in the sport. And it's really, to be honest, it's really nothing cool about taking a bunch of punishment. I'd rather be a guy like Floyd, go through boxing and have a great career and leave this sport with all his faculties, be able to go on to the next phase of his life, whatever he chooses to do, and made hundreds of millions of dollars.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think it's obvious. It's always in the best interest of the fighter to live that way.
Does Floyd at any point plan to, and I kind of know the answer, but I want you to, this is your interview, so I want you to say it. At any point, plan to exchange with Conor McGregor, or will Floyd be on his roller skates? Because you said before the interview, Floyd's a very nice roller skater, and it wasn't an analogy for how he plays defense, and we were actually talking about roller skating, y'all, just so you know. Because you like roller skating too. That's how you hurt your wrist. But is Floyd gonna be on his skates the whole time playing defense, or are we're gonna mix it up?
That is one of the things that does bother me about that perception. People don't understand what boxing is about. There was this perception that Floyd's a runner. I just don't see it. I mean, the definition of running is somebody just constantly moving around. If you notice, especially the last half of his career, Floyd's fought a lot more in the pocket. He sits right in the pocket,
and people still can't hit him, by the way.
Right
in the pocket.
So it's just that that there's a perception out there that is not true, and he's going to engage Conor from the opening bell, and Conor's going to come and attempt to try to do the same thing. Somebody's got to get knocked out.
So wait.
That's very interesting.
Don't run past that now.
No. You really believe this ends in a knockout?
I'm totally convinced. It's impossible for it not to end in a knockout, because if both guys do exactly what they said they were going to do, it's impossible.
Well, and in some ways, knowing what Conor McGregor's fight style that we know in MMA, he's always on the attack, right? Like he's took some L's from some grapplers and people who made him tap out and things like that.
But not standing up though.
Right.
Yeah, standing up, he loves to come forward and throw punches. Yeah. That's what he does. But don't you think there's a chance that Floyd does what he does so well, which is just tap, 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 tap away all night long, score, 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 and doesn't end in knockout? Or you think if he does that to Conor McGregor goes down eventually?
No, I think that Conor McGregor's going to come out pressing the action. Floyd's going to be very aggressive, and somebody's going to get knocked out.
Now, to Ebro's question earlier about Floyd's style, I do agree with you that it's a misnomer that Floyd runs. But that being said, do you think there's any truth to the fact that when Floyd respects someone like Miguel Cotto, like Sugar Shane Mosley, he will engage them a little bit more and sort of exchange with them more?
Yo, he took some punches from – one of the things I always bring up is that Cotto fight. Cotto hit Floyd sometimes hard as fuck. And Cotto's bigger than Floyd, but how, like, I mean – Not that much, but he's a big
let me cut you off. Cotto outweighed Floyd by 19 pounds
on fight night.
That's what I'm saying. He's bigger.
All of the fighters outweigh him by that much.
When the fight actually starts.
Yeah.
So did Floyd? But is there truth to that? Since Floyd liked Cotto, he let him exchange with him a bit. He was like, we can mix it up.
No, it just came about the pace of the fight dictated itself. I think that as the fight was relatively easy for Floyd early on, and the fans kind of got a little, excited, and I think Floyd started to engage him more, and that's why.
Because he can be affected by the excitement that he hears.
Well, no, it was just more so that you want to entertain the fans.
Right, of course.
You want to entertain the fans, and initially, I think in the early rounds, from what I can recall, Cotto wasn't engaging, and and so the fans got a little. And
so Floyd's a man of the people.
No, I think Floyd does care about entertainment.
They're going to put on a show.
Yeah,
They're going to put on a show, and we're all going to be there watching.
Real quick, I've been having a couple arguments with people. People say MMA gloves hurt more than boxing gloves. What do you say?
I've never put on any MMA gloves.
They're smaller. They're significantly smaller.
Right, and it all depends upon because you can.
Who's
it all
throwing
depends
them?
upon who's
throwing them.
Who's throwing them? Because you got some guys who just natural punchers, and in that case, that's exactly what I think McGregor is, just a natural puncher. Because if you see him, like even in the Jose Aldo fight, which was interesting, that he knocked him out going backwards.
Yeah,
and in boxing, you very rarely seen that. You go back. I would have to go back to the Ray Robinson days. It's very hard to knock a guy out going backwards. So it just goes to show you, he has tremendous punching power. That and although he was the only champion at 145 pounds ever in the UFC.
Never lost.
Yeah.
And that lasted 12 seconds, 13 seconds.
Yeah, 13 seconds.
Yeah. Very cool, man. Thank you for spending some time with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, Leonard Ellerbe, never test him in that roller skating ring. He got something for you. That's what it is. Wait, what's your specialty move you were saying?
Oh, man, I can do it all in that skating ring.
He can do it all.
Yo, give it up for him. Legend, man. It's a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much. Man.